showtime!
It indeed is showtime tonight on CFM Radio.
It is once again showtime.
And we have a packed show tonight, I must say.
Yes, a lot of good stuff to talk about.
A lot of good stuff. But what have you been playing, sir?
Man, I've been diving into a bit of the Jet Set Radio. I'm still lingering on my Dreamcast classics a bit. But on the go, I don't carry around a Switch with me. I have a bunch of emulators on my phone. So I've been playing Devil Crush a lot. That's one of my... Devil's Crush, it's a pinball game for the Turbo Graphics. And it was actually renamed for the Genesis, but I pulled that out and Pokemon Pinball occasionally too.
Oh, hell yeah. Pokemon Pinball. Dude, Pokemon Pinball is such a classic. And you know what? I gotta say, Pokemon Pinball is one of those games that's totally, like, if you want a game, like an example of a game that's built for on-the-go play, Pokemon Pinball.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of pinball, I've been participating in a season of Pinball League, and the finals are coming up, and I'm standing at number 7 in my pinball league of about 30 people. So participate in your local pinball team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Both Drix and I, huge proponents of whatever your hobby, whatever you do, whatever you like to do for fun. You know what? Share the good times with the community, local community, if you have it. I come from the fighting game community, LA, Vegas, Michigan. I've been all over. I've seen a lot of different fighting game communities. I love them all. They're all great. Competitive gaming communities are fantastic. Online gaming communities are fantastic. Even if you are something like arts and crafts, you know, if you like painting Warhammer, if you like playing Warhammer, there's
trading card games galore.
There's game
shops that would just love for you to come and play on their giant tables and stuff.
Yes.
Find one near you, bring your friends, and hang out.
And every one of you buy a soda.
At least.
At least.
Yep.
You know.
Participate in your local vending machines.
Absolutely. Because, you know, and like I said, I come from fighting games, and I can't put them down. I love Street Fighter 6. The grind does not stop. I am just continuing my platinum climb. I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna go for master. I think I can do it. I think I want to enter a couple of tournaments, but I don't know how good the net play is, and I don't know if I can get out to these local. I don't know where my locals are anymore. So here I am. Oh man, local scene. But you know what? If you fall behind, it's hard to catch up. Things can change on a dime.
Where are you at? Local scenes.
Right, where you at? Local scenes. Also, I played the hell out of Pikmin 4. I played the hell out of that game, Drix.
I mean, we're excited. We're nice to have Pikmin 4 finally.
I loved it. I beat it today before the show. I'll be giving my review later on. But speaking of awesome games on the Switch, as of an hour ago, everyone, breaking news. Nintendo be dropping some classic Zelda titles that everyone wanted. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. You can get them right now on the Switch. If you have the Game Boy, I think it's just the regular Game Boy, access to the regular Game Boy Virtual Console. If you have that, you can be playing Zelda Oracle. I'm probably going to play them tonight, honestly. I'll probably start one tonight. I love those games. If they have fun fact about those games, if you beat them both and you had a link cable originally on the Game Boy, if you had a link cable, you could link them together and then unlock the final dungeon where you fight Ganon, and it's like a 2-player battle.
Wow. Yeah. Co-op link action. Two links.
Before 4 swords.
Man, way to go, Nintendo, just trying things, and when they work, just going full on into it.
I mean, for all the things that Nintendo, for all the stuff that Nintendo does, and for their reputation as like kiddie, or like a little bit more juvenile, or a little bit less like low tech, right? For all of those, for all that reputation, especially on the software side, they usually like to make their games a little bit easier, even more so than most modern game devs. For all that flack, Nintendo really likes to pioneer hardware. For all the flack it got, the Switch was the one of a kind console, or the Wii U was a one of a kind console. The Wii itself, everyone had one. I had one.
It made the price of like the gyroscope go down because there were a bunch of them to put in the controllers for the motion controls.
Yeah. So, like, Nintendo really does try to push new ways to play, as opposed to just putting out new games that are cutting edge, which is awesome to think about in the grand scheme of things. We're going to take you to a little something that we were talking about last week, folks. Before we get into this first round of music here. Last week we were talking about how Gaming Bowl interviewed the Trine 4 developers and noted some comments made about the all-digital Xbox Series S and how it can bottleneck the developers. That's what the Trine 4 PR guy said. Well, on the other end of the spectrum, on the PlayStation side, the team behind the upcoming game Quantum Error took to Twitter to announce the cancellation of the PS4 version of the game.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that happening. I'm already seeing, a downgrade can be an effort, and whether or not that effort is worth it, it's changing with the times.
I think it really matters, honestly, if it's purpose built. Right. So like if I have an experience that I know is going to run perfectly and it's made for the PS5, the Xbox Series S or X, right? If I know it runs perfectly on those consoles and the downgrade doesn't take a lot of effort, right? Let's say the downgrade is less of an effort and more of an outsourced job, or more of a port even, you know what I mean? Like a downgraded port. Like just
get your project manager hat on.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna run this on the lowest possible settings on the PS4, right? Like that's what we're gonna do. If that is a leap, that might not be worth it. But these guys took to Twitter, and the official Twitter post reads, Unfortunately, we are going to have to cancel the PS4 version of QE. Even with the game being made from the beginning for the PS5, we still had hopes we could make a PS4 version happen. But with the level of quality we have achieved with QE, with the gameplay running at 60 FPS, we have reached the conclusion that there is no way for us to deliver a PS4 version that would live up to what the PS5 is going to deliver. A PS4 version would require too much downgrading and changing of assets, lighting, and much more to function. And with the difference in memory and the slower HDD speed, it would be a very different experience and would not compare to the PS5 version. And it would not be fair to PS4 players. So that's exactly the point I was making earlier. I didn't even really remember. It's one of those things where So ray tracing to me in the beginning was sort of like a gimmick, right? I had seen a couple of videos of some tech bros being like, yo, ray tracing is awesome, and it does have awesome implications for how people can make games and how they can look. But at the end of the day, it's not something great or super impressive.
Look what I can do.
Yeah, but these developers, they say they just can't deliver a PS4 downgrade. It just takes too much.
it's their intent as artists is what it sounds like.
Honestly,
Like they're not making Vampire Survivor over there.
right?
You know, like
No,
they're like, I'm sorry, this element of technical detail is actually very important to the way
the experience
we want the experience to be. Yeah,
like
exactly.
You know, that's another
Called
point.
Not compromising.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, again, that's another point I feel like we want to make. You know, here at Clusterfuck Media, we really believe in the idea that game developers and you know, they're artists. Like you're experiencing the vision, whether it be collective or not. You know, you don't believe me, right? Don't take my word for it, dude. Don't take my word for it. Like, listen to literally any game developer interview. Listen to the final panel from hell for Baldur's Gate 3. Like, just go listen to it. These guys, they're trying to bring a vision to life. So, you know, if they don't want to compromise in it, I don't think they should.
No, I mean, yes, if money isn't an issue or whatever, if they're just doing it out of love, it's
I mean,
don't compromise your artistic vision.
That's sort of my whole thing, though, right? Like, and I understand
they're collaborating on a big old team or whatever.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
300 guys, you know.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Like, you know, if I'm EA, right, or like Ubisoft, like, yeah, I'm gonna make a game to make money, right? Absolutely. I got 300 people making this game, right? Plus another like 200 in PR and all these other things, right? Like every other department, like. But like, if I'm setting out to make an experience, I don't want to compromise, and I don't think a developer should compromise. I don't think it should be an issue. I don't think money or like a big profit should be one of those things that stands in the way of creating a nice something experimental, something a little bit different, something that's uncompromising. You know, like I feel
pushes
like
the boundaries a little.
Yeah,
maybe blend something familiar into something new.
Yeah, you know, like there's a lot of room for that in this industry. CFM radio.
Oh, we getting funky with Let Mom Sleep, No Sleep remix from Jet Set Radio Future. Classic soundtrack.
From a classic game. And speaking of the classics, Capcom is once again making waves in the news. You know, their fiscal quarter earnings hit the web today. That report boasts some incredible numbers, Drix.
Somebody's been crunching those numbers. And
yeah.
Time for some of those figures to get out to the public. See how well these companies have been doing compared to monetary gains.
Capcom is crazy with these games. These incredible numbers have highlights of being a 73.8 year-on-year increase in sales, a 99.4 year-on-year increase in operating income, and the digital contents business, which includes the Capcom game products, recorded a 97.7% year-over-year in sales.
Street Fighter 6.
It is indeed pioneered by the release, credited mostly to the release of Street Fighter 6 and its DLC. That game is very good. It's got one of the best character creators we've seen in gaming in the modern day. So I think that's pretty praiseworthy. And, you know, they just dropped their newest DLC character, Rashid. And he seems to be, I guess there's a little bit of an error, but you know what? He seems to be pretty good, and people really like him. He is a classic from Street Fighter V.
Yeah, I like me Rashid.
Rashid was awesome. Microsoft also made their quarter four earnings public. And though the stats, and their stats are interesting, and they're certain, but they're a little bit more flat than Capcom.
Okay. Yeah, they got a lot more stuff to worry about as Microsoft than just entertaining people with video games. That can't be their highest priority, but nevertheless, they still do it well and have reported some increases.
We'll zoom in on that gaming revenue. The gaming revenue is essentially flat, and the Xbox hardware sales are actually declined by 13%. But Xbox content and services grew 5% year over year, spearheaded by Game Pass and third-party titles that help fuel it. A couple weeks back, we talked about Capcom's 30th anniversary and the interview that took place with the president of the company in honor of the event. It looks like those changes that they spoke of about their business model and the shift to digital sounds like they really paid off.
Yeah, I mean, if they gambled or predicted, it's seeming to work out for them.
Well, hey, that business strategy of theirs. I can't wait to see what it looks like in 3 years when they tally up the numbers for games like Exo Primal and the RE4 remake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aiming for those 3-year later digital purchases. I mean,
the window.
Yeah, gamer royalties, video game style.
Interesting idea. We'll see how it plays out for them. These numbers are pretty good, and Microsoft and Xbox, we'll chalk it up to growing pains, right? They just absorbed Activision Blizzard. There's a lot going on.
Oh yeah,
Mike Ybarra's,
no, there's no way they're running full steam just yet.
Yeah,
after all they've acquired, especially after their legal battle, and that must have been a holdup for them.
Definitely, we covered it here. It was definitely harrowing, especially with the Trine 4 guy coming out, and Larian coming out, and Techland coming out, and they're saying, hey, Xbox Series S, great idea for consumers, horrible idea for us. We could barely develop games for this thing.
Yeah, a bit of a developer complaints on the horizon.
A little bit of a hurdle. You know what? I gotta say, Drix, the more and more we think about this Xbox situation, the more and more I just feel like it just sounds more and more Sega, bro.
Might be looking at the last Xbox.
CFM Radio, we are back.
CFM Radio, back once again with the new releases.
We got some new releases this week. Yesterday we saw the release of Remnant 2, as discussed last week. Remnant 2, the follow-up to 2019 Remnant from Ashes. But today, PC players can also enjoy a port of the PS5 smash hit, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good time.
Right, it's gonna be awesome. Loving me some Ratchet & Clank. But, if you're looking for something totally new to game on, Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons offers up some timeless retro beat-em-up action. From the Steam page, the Double Dragon brothers return in this fresh addition to the iconic beat-em-up franchise. With roguelite elements, every playthrough is a chance at new action. Tag in with 2 of 4 starter characters, or unlock 9 additional characters, each with their own special moves and unique playstyles. You gonna play some Double Dragon Gaiden, Drix?
I am getting heavy Shredder's Revenge vibes from this. So yeah, this might be something to pick up and enjoy on the couch with your friends that like to come over and play beat 'em ups and stuff. You got special moves, Streets of Rage 4 is also a good example of that.
Oh yeah, Streets of Rage 4.
I'm seeing a bit of a comeback here. I don't know, call it the 90s if you will, but yeah, a new Double Dragon beating them up in the streets.
Yeah, at least for these these nostalgic old school games. We're gonna go in with some from the heavy nostalgia to the deep indies with Rightfully Barry Arms, an intense roguelike cute 'em up hitting Steam tomorrow. from the Steam page, rightfully, Barry Arms is a bullet hell roguelite that is about much more than collecting loot, dying, and losing everything. Carefully choose enemy upgrades against your own, then plan your dungeon crawl tactfully to gun through unique factions of enemies, strategically preserving loot after death. So this sounds like, I love roguelikes, I love roguelites, I love these kinds of games, I'm a sucker for them. But I will be the first one to admit there is a lot of stagnation in the genre. I like these hardcore roguelites and roguelikes because they end up being the better experiences. Unless your experience is super tight, like Dandy Ace, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like straight up fun, start to finish. Even though it's not super challenging, it's still super fun. Not a lot of roguelikes can really hit that sweet spot. But if this game can do it, it's going to be awesome. And most of the games that can do it lean into the tougher side. Do you like roguelikes, Tricks?
I have enjoyed a few and many. I'm a Vampire Survivor fan.
Oh, yeah.
There was one called like Road Rage or something that was like Road Rash with procedurally generated tracks that you could fight people. Yeah, it's in my Steam library. I think it's called Road Rage, something similar to Road Rash, but not quite, you know. But that one was actually a really good experience. I think it was made by like one guy from Australia too, and
sick.
I think he might even like give you his phone number when you buy the game if you go through the right menu or something. He's like, hey, you got any problems? Here I am. Call me.
Oh, damn! All right.
Yeah, hooray for the indies.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
But this one, I mean, you got to have like a visual style or something artistic to present. And I like the way this like cute version of Smash TV is looking.
Right? Yeah, it definitely to me, you know, it's like Cotton Fantasy, right? Like it really preserves the cute 'em up.
Yeah.
And cute 'em up isn't just a cute shoot 'em up, right? It's like its own thing. Like it's got like, it takes those elements and cranks up the cuteness to 11, of course, but it also like it goes into your mechanics. It go like you become overwhelmed, like your enemy design. You become overwhelmed by things like sheep. You get like I love in cute 'em ups that take themselves seriously the bullet geometry that you have to work with, because you know, say what you want, shooting a heart correctly or shooting sparkles correctly to get the maximum impact out of them, like, and you could kill a lot of those things in those kinds of cute 'em up games with like those little boom hearts attack and like sparkle bomb, you know what I mean? But they're real. A lot of them get really precise because it's sparkles and hearts. The last thing we're going to talk about, really quick, Riot Games. We love them or hate them. They got a game coming out, Project L. It's a League of Legends fighter. League of Legends, you know it, you love it, or hate it. From Arcane fame as well, Netflix show. These guys invited a ton of gaming influencers to try their new unreleased fighting game, Project L. This League of Legends, this League of Legends based fighter seems like an eclectic game, with reports saying that it has a flow like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, takes cues from games such as Skullgirls and classics such as Capcom vs. SNK 2 to offer an experience that is receiving unrelenting praise. You can check it out on your favorite fighting game community members' YouTube, or just check out Project L on YouTube. Drix, have you seen any of that?
I caught a little bit of video from it earlier today, actually, and I saw what I believe was 4 players fighting, like 2-on-2 teams, and you can have different players as each character.
Yes.
Personally, I love Dota too much to do anything even remotely related to League of Legends. I even tried the League of Legends like variety of Coke, like the championship edition of Coca-Cola, and it was like, oh no, lol. But yeah, as far as fighting game mechanics go, it looks pretty interesting, and I wonder if it'll have any of that party game kind of feel that like platform brawlers have, like Smash or Brawlhalla.
So a couple of games have tried this before. The most notable ones are Street Fighter X Tekken and the 2009, I believe, Mortal Kombat 9. So like you can have 4 players playing on a team, fighting there. But you know what, Drake? So the one thing I gotta say is leave it to Riot to make a fighting game where you can blame your teammate.
Yup, in true MOBA fashion.
And you know that Riot's new fighter isn't the only unreleased game that got an information blowout. Yesterday saw the release of the gameplay trailer for Armored Core 6, and it looks absolutely amazing. Shows off the melee combat, intense mech fights, and even PvP gameplay. The latest entry in FromSoft's long-running mech franchise is sure to shake things up. Drix, are you down for Armored Core 6?
Dude, I've truly felt something from within watching that video, because it just made me so happy, and I am so excited to boost around. Even though I hear a little bit of the old gripes from like the older players, like, oh, you know, the mechanics might be different than, you know, X version of Armored Core, you know, 2, 3, or 4, and you know, maybe they have their preferences, but I am absolutely fine with FromSoft adding, you know, little tips and tricks that they might have picked up from all their award-winning games. You know, maybe they might have learned a thing or two, and you know, things might be changing in a direction that you might actually like once you play the game. But even the pickiest of fans are still super excited that we're just getting another
super hype.
installment.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure the consensus is we're gonna support the heck out of this game. Man, 3 versus 3 PvP battles,
on
like
3.
we can get our little squad together and go,
Hell
like,
yeah.
6-2-1.
You, me, and Chef.
You know,
like,
yeah, some good streams ahead, hopefully. And
sounds good.
Yeah, we'll get a taste of Rubicon's blessings pretty soon. So
hell
excited.
yeah. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, coming out bottom of next month. Gonna be a great game. Check out the gameplay trailer if you haven't seen it. Drix, I think it's time we about signed off.
Yep. Maybe one more classic tune. Time
What?
Station from Ape Escape.
One more tune. We love this time. We love this game. Time Station, Ape Escape, CFM Radio.
Y'all have a good night out there. We know you'll be back.
Have a good night.
I know that you'll be back.